Between 1590 and 1613, Shakespeare wrote 37 plays, 17 of which were comedies. And while most of us only know Shakespeare from Hamlet, Macbeth, or Romeo and Juliet, we can actually take a lot of his ideals and relate them to modern productions. In the year 1959, the Globe Theatre was built to showcase Shakespeare's talents in writing, but unfortunately, in 1613, the theater actually burned down due to a fire. Luckily, in 1997, the theater was rebuilt. To this day, millions and millions of people come from all across the world to see Shakespeare's plays in live action. And while Shakespeare's words will live in infamy for years and years to come, there are plenty of beloved classics that we love and that are near and dear to our heart that have been inspired or use the same ideals by Shakespeare, some of which include West Side Story, The Lion King, All Shook Up, and Hamilton. Today, with the help of Cam, Sal, Alex, and I, we're going to be explaining Shakespeare's revolutionary ideas and how he inspired modern productions.
Romeo and Juliet and West Side Story have some very apparent similarities and differences. Some of the most apparent similarities are that Romeo and Juliet are from rival families, while Maria and Tony are from rival gangs. Another very apparent similarity, which I will show you in a second, is that there are very similar scenes between the two movies.
Come down!
No.
Maria!
Please. My mother and father will wake up.
Just for a minute.
A minute is not enough.
For an hour, then.
I cannot.
Then forever! Shh! Coming up.
Maria. Momentito, Papa. Now see what you've done.
Momentito, Maria.
Cállate. Shh. It is dangerous. If Bernardo knew.
I will let him know. I'm not one of them, Maria.
But you are not one of us. And I am not one of you.
To me, you're all the beautiful... Maruca!
Sí, ya vengo, Papa.
Maruca?
His pet name for me.
I like him. And he will like me.
No. He is like Bernardo. Afraid. Imagine being afraid of you.
You see?
I see you.
Oh, Maria, see only me.
Only you, you're the only thing
If I should ask you now for vows of love, I know you will say aye. But if you swear, you may prove false. You say that Jove does laugh at lovers' perjuries. And will you now call me too fast? When have you not heard me, I should be slow as ice. Romeo, trust me, and I will prove more true than those who play the game with far more cunning wit.
Lady, by yonder moon, I swear, that tips with silver all the fruit tree top.
I swear not by the moon, the inconstant moon that monthly changes in her circled orb, lest that your love prove likewise variable.
What shall I swear by?
Do not swear at all. And listen hard. Are we too rash, too unadvised, too quick?
No. For this bud of love in summer's breath will prove a beauteous flower when next we meet.
Do this, Bernardo. Tony! Don't just stand there! No. Tony! Hold him! Let's do this. The pleasure is mine. Riff, no! Stop this! Riff! Don't do this! Let go of me! Riff! No! Riff, I didn't mean this. I rape you, gentlemen, for shame. Prepare this outrage! Tybalt! Mercutio! The prince expressly hath forbid this banding in Verona streets! Hold, Tybalt! Good Mercutio!
As you can see, scenes from Romeo and Juliet definitely inspired scenes from West Side Story. More similarities include that Maria and Juliet were expected to marry someone they did not want to because of family or gang ties. Another similarity is that both couples experienced love at first sight. Although there are many similarities between Romeo and Juliet, there are the same, if not more, differences. For example, Romeo and Juliet takes place in Verona, Italy, while West Side Story takes place in the back streets of Manhattan. Maybe the most obvious difference is that while Romeo and Juliet was written as a more traditional play, West Side Story was written as a musical. Another very apparent difference between the two plays is that while Romeo and Juliet get married, Tony and Maria do not. In Romeo and Juliet, Juliet kills herself after Romeo. But in West Side Story, Maria does not kill herself after Tony is killed.
Shakespeare's work is so powerful that films nowadays are still based upon his work, one of them being Lion King, which is based upon Hamlet. Lion King is very similar to Shakespeare's hit Hamlet. In both, the main characters are princes, in Lion King, that being Simba, who's the son of King Mufasa, and in Hamlet, where Hamlet is the son of King Hamlet. Also in both, they have shady uncles, in Lion King, that being Simba, and in Hamlet, that being Claudius.
Life's not fair, is it? You see, I shall never be king. And you shall never see the light of another day. And you...
Didn't your mother ever tell you not to play with your food?
What do you want?
I'm here to announce that King Mufasa's on his way.
So you'd better have a good excuse for missing the ceremony this morning.
Oh, now look, Zazu, you've made me lose my lunch.
Ha! You'll lose more than that when the king gets through with you. He's as mad as a hippo with a hernia.
Ooh, I quiver with fear.
Now, Scar, don't look at me that way. Help!
Scar. Drop him.
Impeccable timing, Your Majesty.
Why, if it isn't my big brother descending from on high to mingle with the commoners.
Sarabi and I didn't see you at the presentation of Simba.
That was today? Oh, I feel simply awful. Must have slipped my mind.
Yes, well, as slippery as your mind is, as the king's brother, you should have been first in line.
Well, I was first in line. Until the little hairball was born.
That hairball is my son and your future king.
Oh, I shall practice my curtsy.
Don't turn your back on me, Scar.
Oh, no, Mufasa. Perhaps you shouldn't turn your back on me.
Is that a challenge?
Temper. I wouldn't dream of challenging you.
Pity. Why not?
Well, as far as brains go, I got the lion's share, but when it comes to brute strength, I'm afraid I'm at the shallow end of the gene pool.
If she should break it now.
Both here and hence, pursue me lasting strife. If, once a widow, ever I be wife.
Madam, how like you this play?
The lady doth protest too much, methinks.
Oh, but she'll keep her word.
Have you heard the argument? Is there no offense in it?
No, they do but jest. Poison in jest. No offense to the world.
What do you call the play?
The Mousetrap. 'Tis a knavish piece of work. But what of that? Your Majesty and I have free souls. It touches us not.
Also in both, their fathers seem to die. King Mufasa is slain by the shady Uncle Scar, while in Hamlet, King Hamlet is slain by the shady Uncle Claudius. And after both of their deaths, they reappear in both and tell them to do the right thing.
When I to sulphurous and tormenting flames must render up myself.
Alas, poor ghost.
Pity me not, but lend thy serious hearing to what I shall unfold.
Speak, I am bound to hear.
So art thou to revenge when thou shalt hear.
What?
I am thy father's spirit, doomed for a certain term to walk the night, and for the day confined to fast in fires, till the foul crimes that are done in my days of nature are burnt and purged away. But that I am forbid to tell the secrets of my prison house, I could a tale unfold whose lightest word would harrow up thy soul.
You see, he lives in you.
Simba.
Father?
Simba, you have forgotten me.
No. How could I?
You have forgotten who you are, and so forgotten me. Look inside yourself, Simba. You are more than what you have become. You must take your place in the circle of life.
How can I go back? I'm not who I used to be.
Remember who you are.
After both of their fathers reappear as ghosts, the right thing is done. They both kill their shady uncle and take the power from them. In Lion King, Simba was fighting with Scar, and he was killed by hyenas. In Hamlet killed Claudius with a sword and poisoned wine. While Lion King and Hamlet are very similar, there are some differences as well. In Lion King, Simba's father died and he was just a child. In Hamlet, Hamlet's father died and he is an adult. Also, in Lion King, Simba's story was very different from Hamlet's. Simba's story was more of a happy one. It started off sad when his father died, but he grew up with a happy mentality. In Hamlet, Hamlet's story was more of a depressing story and had a tragic ending, which ended up having most people killed. Also, Simba had moral guidance when he grew up. Hamlet had nothing, besides from the one time that his father's ghost came and told him to get revenge on his uncle.
While the ideals and concepts of Shakespeare's plays have sparked light for other plays and movies, we can also take away from Shakespeare's plays the idea of his use of productions. While one play is about the American Revolution and the story of Alexander Hamilton, and the other play is about a tyrannical king who goes on a killing spree, there are many similarities between how the productions were showcased. One of the biggest things taken away from a Shakespearean play that was also used in Hamilton was the idea that the entire play was based off of the same set. This ideal, originally used in the Globe Theatre, showcases the idea that a good story does not need to be told by an entire set, but rather by the characters themselves.
Who did strike out the light?
Was it not the way? There's but one down, the sun is flagged!
We've lost best half of our affair!
Well, let's away and say how much is done!
At first and last, the hearty welcome.
This scene from Macbeth shows the transition between scene to scene, but instead of using something as a backdrop, they instead use props that come in a change of dynamic and character.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. There are 10 things you need to know. Number 1. We rode across the Hudson at dawn. My friend William P. Van Ness signed on as my number 2. Hamilton arrived with his crew, Nathaniel Pendleton and the doctor that he knew. Number 3. I watched Hamilton examine the terrain. I wish I could tell you what was happening in his brain. This man is poisoned by political pursuits. Most disputes die and no one shoots. Number 4. Hamilton drew first position, looking to the world like a man on a mission. This is a soldier with a marksman's ability. The doctor turned around so he could have deniability. 5. Now I didn't know this at the time, but we were near the same spot. My son died, is that why? 6. He examined his gun with such rigor. I watched as he methodically fiddled with the trigger. 7. Confession time, here's what I got. My fellow soldiers will tell you I'm a terrible shot. Number 8. Your last chance to negotiate. Send in your second, see if they can set the record straight. They won't teach you this in your classes, but look it up. Hamilton was wearing his glasses. Why? If not to take deadly aim. It's him or me. The world will never be the same. I had only one thought before the slaughter. This man will not make an orphan of my daughter. Number 9. Look him in the eye, aim no higher. Summon all the courage you require. Then count. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Number 10. Paces fire.
I imagine death so much it feels more like a memory. Is this where it gets me? On my feet, several feet ahead of me. I see it coming. Do I run or fire my gun or let it be?
This scene from Hamilton depicts the duel between Aaron Burr and Alexander Hamilton across the Hudson River. Now, as you can see, there's nothing even resembling a river anywhere across the stage, but by the way that the words are written and the dynamic of the characters, you can understand the build-up that happens just within the one scene itself. Another way that Shakespeare helped influence modern productions is by using his ideas of having a smaller cast with overlapping characters. According to the IMDb, there were 10 characters in the 2020 production of Macbeth, and 3 of which were overlapping characters. In Hamilton, just like Macbeth, there are actors and actresses who play multiple roles, such as the actress who plays Mariah Reynolds and Peggy Schuyler, the actor who plays Thomas Jefferson in Lafayette, and the actor who plays James Madison in Hercules Mulligan. While I have previously mentioned that obviously Hamilton and Macbeth have 2 different storylines, the productions themselves run parallel using the ideas of Shakespeare that date back to the 1500s.
All Shook Up is one of the many plays and movies that was inspired from William Shakespeare films. All Shook Up is specifically based from William Shakespeare's The Twelfth Night. Both of these plays are romantic comedies with many interwoven plots of romances and disguises, or in other words, mistaken identities. These plays are about love and how you cannot control it. In fact, All Shook Up was actually titled Can't Help Falling in Love before eventually being changed to All Shook Up. Another similarity is that in both plays, characters disguise themselves as others for important reasons. They go above and beyond to help sell these disguises.
Who are you? Ma'am, my name is Chad, and I'm just a roving roustabout, the song in his soul and a love for the ladies. Happens a lot. She'll be fine.
One night with you is what I'm now praying for. Hey, you're wearing blue suede shoes.
Nobody step on them.
She loves me! Sure! The cunning of her passion invites me! In this churlish messenger! None of my lord's ring. Why? He sent her none. I am the man. If it be so as 'tis, poor ladies, you had better love a dream. Disguise, I see thou art a wickedness, wherein the pregnant enemy does much. How easy is it for the proper false in women's waxen hearts to set their forms? Alas, our frailty is the cause, not we. For such as we are made of, such we be.
While these plays are very similar, they're also very different. For example, the reason in which these characters go under disguise are different. In All Shook Up, Natalie goes under disguise to get closer to a new biker she meets named Chad. When she meets Chad, she instantly falls in love, and she wants to spend more time with him. So, when she tries to go with him on the bike, Chad tells her that he only travels with men. So, in an attempt to get closer with him, Natalie disguises herself as Ed and gets to spend more time with him and to get closer. In Shakespeare's The Twelfth Night, Olivia disguises herself for a different reason. She's in disguise as Viola because she fears her brother is dead. As a way of keeping him alive in a sense, Olivia dresses up like him and acts like him.
There is no doubt in my mind that Shakespeare's words will live on forever, but those were just a few examples of how there are modern productions of Shakespeare and how the ideals taken from him all the way back from the 1500s can inspire plays, movies, and productions to this day. Without the help of Shakespeare, some of the most beloved classics such as Hamilton, The Lion King, All Shook Up, and West Side Story may not exist. And while getting through a piece of Shakespeare literature may not be the easiest thing to comprehend, there is no question that he shaped modern production.